Hi, I'm Sam Fairhurst, and I'm here today to talk about a terrible incident that happened when our lives stopped. Um, my son became very unwell 4 years ago. The trajectory of his illness was not inevitable. It was entirely avoidable. He suffers from schizoaffective disorder, which is managed very effectively with medication. But unfortunately, an innocent person nearly lost her life, and it was avoidable that he was arrested and imprisoned for attempted murder. It was avoidable that he became catatonic and nearly died there. And it was avoidable that he attempted to kill himself in the process. Every single event our family predicted. We knew it was going to happen. We alerted the crisis team, his psychiatrist, his care worker, his early intervention team, the family intervention person, not once, not twice, but so many times. In answer to our pleas, we received a few reassurances from kindly staff. We received defensive reactions from staff who felt frustrated by our challenges and interference, but mostly we were ignored. Often a note wasn't even taken. We were kept on the outside of his care. My son was living at home. We were providing love, security, reassurance, and safety. We didn't have any tools or experience to deal with psychosis, and no guidance was given. We were denied a voice in his care. The reason provided when we asked for help, when we flagged up risk, was confidentiality. My son's right to confidentiality superseded his right to care that looked after his well self. Instead, it enabled his illness. He lacked the capacity to care for himself. He was self-harming, deluded, paranoid, suffering suicidal ideation. We were not party to what medication he was on. We therefore couldn't manage the risk of him overdosing, an explicit manifested concern. I was told I was an overprotective mummy by the crisis team after stating something awful was going to happen. Our concerns about knives under pillows, medication, self-harming, hostility were all apparently ignored. We were scared and we felt totally alone. And to give you an idea of how scared we slept with a chair against our door. And when my son told me that he intended to kill himself, my husband slept on the floor outside of his room for 2 nights. But this isn't one occasion, it's so many occasions. We're even at one point told not to communicate with him or them unless it was either through my son, with my son, my beautiful, now hostile, paranoid, suicidal son. It could have been all so different. In the first instance, his very first interaction with the early intervention team need not have been an obtuse introduction to his right to confidentiality and information sharing. This informed his paranoid mind that there was a risk of involving his loving family. It should have been done with sensitivity. Under the assumption he's being cared for and loved for in the family home, and that the risks are being mitigated if we were involved. He should have been encouraged to keep us involved, not actively encouraged to keep us out. The recovery of my son depended on keeping him alive, consistent medication, and having a safe, peaceful environment. We're involved with all of those things, and yet no effort was made to involve us meaningfully in his care. We should have been part of the solution and not made to feel part of the problem. Why couldn't the various staff have made an effort at building a trusting relationship, reassuring us that they knew we had his best interests at heart, validating our concerns, keeping us on the inside, trusting our intentions? The more we fought, the more desperate we were, the more defensive they got. Had we had a trusting relationship in the first instance, we could have shared appropriate information. We were the conduit between hospitals, different teams, different trusts, and yet we were not party to the official information. Just the name family intervention implied that we were the problem. Why wasn't it called family support or family liaison? How do you think it makes us feel? And furthermore, when we willingly attend those meetings, how do you think it makes us feel when we're told in a very ladybird book way how to communicate with each other? Judged, undermined, patronised. Maybe we needed to hear that, but in the first instance, we needed to know that you trusted we were a loving family that put our son first. It's time to rethink the relationship with the family, rebuild the connection and recognise their recovery is dependent on our love and support, on our mental well-being, which, by the way, isn't enough to say, how are you doing? How are you coping? What are you doing for your downtime? Trite comments from people that don't understand. We were at the bottom of Maslow's ladder, and we needed to be heard to support our son's best interest. All of this devastation could have been avoided. We lost our home, our friends, our extended family is traumatized, and we're left trying to rebuild some kind of life. Our beautiful, loving, kind-souled boy is just a shell. Don't shut us out. Trust us and work to build that trust. Be honest. Encourage the service user, our loved ones, to involve the family. Stop being defensive. Have professional humility. You don't have all the answers. And support us to deliver the loving care they need. Don't work against us. Thank you so much for listening.